Hey everyone, I'm Ashish. First off, thank you to all of you. Our community and channel is 1,000 members strong. So thank you for being part of the journey, providing critical feedback and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we'll have more new heights to come. With that, let's shift our attention to the Indian manufacturing industry. And specifically, let's talk about Apple. The value of Apple's business in India has crossed 2 lakh crores in 2024, including exports and domestic sales. The company manufactured and exported a record 1.35 lakh crore worth of iPhone, the highest by any single phone brand in 2024. And without getting into the history books, this looks like the quickest rise from zero to hero we have seen in the last half century. This also makes Apple the largest global value chain operating domestically as per the government figures. According to the recent economic survey, India contributes to around 14% of the overall Apple production, emerging as a key hub for its global exports. This has also resulted in nearly 1.5 lakh crores being created indirectly by Apple. And this does not stop here. Apple is doubling down on the global China plus one strategy and moving half of its supply chain to India from the Southeast Asian countries. It's planning to establish mega factory to produce iPhones in Bangalore, expanding assembly to iPads and other premium products. Its glass supplier Corning and cable suppliers Foxlinks have set up factories in Tamil Nadu. Titan is being considered for the camera module, and possibly Micron from Gujarat will provide electronic chips. Wait, does that mean that the PLI schemes, all the transportation incentives and the SEZs, the special economic zones that we created, has revitalized our manufacturing sector? Where does FM Nirmala Sitharaman disagree? Before I answer this question, let me give you some brief history. In late 1970s, India and China were similar in size of economy and GDP as we call it. 50 years later, China's economy is now roughly 5 times larger than India's. The core reason for China's economic success is manufacturing. China produces more than 35% of world's manufactured goods. India has lagged far behind in manufacturing. Despite representing 18% of the entire world population, our manufacturing is only 2 to 3% overall. In comparison to our GDP, it is 17%, whereas China is at 39%, and new manufacturing hubs like Vietnam are already at 25%. Which is why we see Modi's administration protecting and subsidizing our strategic manufacturing sectors like textile, electronics, defense, etc. Okay, so do we have a road forward? During the pandemic, there was a severe manufacturing crisis. As China closed down, all the manufacturing units of the companies across countries also started closing down. This is when nations started thinking about the China plus one or China plus N strategy. This means there should be at least one more region apart from China where manufacturing activities can happen so that there's no risk of disruption in the future. Then came the US trade wars with China, and it decided to reduce reliance on China and Chinese products even further. However, US had to keep up with the demand, so it decided to manufacture its products in other countries. And India has been trying to grab all these opportunities to become the attractive manufacturing destination. Seems simple, right? Apple did it, more companies will too. We can surely replace China soon. This is where Nirmala Sitharaman, she differs as per the economic survey that she presented earlier this year. It is not prudent to think about India picking up slack from China in manufacturing. Recent data also casts doubts on whether demand has actually and substantially shifted from China. She was referring to the new US partners, Mexico, which is its new largest partner, and Vietnam, one of the fastest growing partners. Well, both of them rely on China. So Chinese firms are actually rerouting their supplies to US and Europe through these countries. To put it into numbers, 9 out of 10 top Chinese electronic component and assembly companies have been making investments in Vietnam. Further, China has overwhelming dominance in supply of semiconductors, automobiles, infrastructure, green energy that further cements its position as the global factory. As the report said, this makes decoupling or breaking away from China not easy nor likely. Okay, so put tariffs, tax the Chinese products, ban them. The survey highlighted that by merely putting import restrictions will not prevent China from dumping cheap imports. It is pertinent to note that some of the Chinese products are so cheap that no matter how much tariff you add, the price is so low that it affects the competitiveness. Further, as seen in the case of US, China is still able to send their products by packaging it in other countries. So banning would not work. And India has been actively refusing Chinese products. They have banned over 200 apps, put restriction on the imports, to the point that the largest car seller, BYD, has not been able to set up shop in India. However, this has resulted in China silently blocking India's access to solar equipment. So this path is really not going to end well for India. So what is the road forward? Emerging markets like Turkey, Brazil have opted for another path. While they too increased tariffs, they made it easier for Chinese funds to flow through in the form of investment. Indian government is also considering to take the same route and is preparing a list of sectors and industries where Chinese investments may be allowed, provided these help in indigenizing manufacturing and do not pose a legal and security risk. Let's agree, we cannot replace China in the value chain yet. We cannot take their products, that just kills us. So if we want to participate in the global value chain, let us ease the way of doing business and create pathways for investment. This way, we get to manufacture the products and get access to the Chinese know-how and make them cost effective. So any investment ideas? Given Indian government is actually thinking about this path actively, I'm looking for the first movers here. I really love Dixon technology for this. They're already applying for clearance for its proposed joint venture with HKC Corp for manufacturing liquid crystal modules for smartphones and televisions. We've already spoken about Dixon on this channel, and if you did invest with me, we have made a whopping 72% profit in the last 5 months. I'll put a screen grab here below so that you know when we picked it and our returns till date. It is still ripe for growth and continue to be a share to invest in. Also, another company is Uno Minda that has partnered with Chinese automotive company manufacturer electric vehicle components, which includes charging control units, inverters, motors, drive systems for both passenger and commercial vehicles. So this is another company that you can keep in mind, especially with the long-term EV theme, to pick up when the stock prices drop. That's my time for today, and I'll meet you next time. Cheers.